So today we're gonna talk something more vintage, because in my part 1 video of electronic ceiling fan regulator video, I already talked about different type of electronic regulator and also a dimmer type electronic regulator. So now we're gonna talk about something more vintage over here. This is my vintage setup, but I something haven't built in. I missed something. Of course, I bullshit. Why the fuck I missed something that's so vintage? These are called iron core transformer fan regulator. Probably not. Alright, so in my last video, I already talked about between capacitor type and electronic type regulator. And turns out my 1990 is not the electronic regulator, it's a capacitor regulator. That's why I pissed off. That's why some place I help to bypass the ceiling fan regulator and I bullshit. And I think these are electronic regulator when it rated capacitor, but no! Because they still measure the microfarad. And this cannot measure. That's why I have to bring my multimeter for my purpose. I tell you guys to make sure you need to bring your multimeter for testing the regulator, so you're going to make sure your regulator is vintage or not. Well, turns out some fan regulator with a larger housing that turns out should not be a capacitor type regulator because they make it bigger for dissipate heat. Wow. There's still many complaints about fan regulators, but anyway, they're mostly called electronic regulator. But for some reason, they still got have capacitor rated regulator. That's cool. Alright, so I talk too much. Maybe I need to serve my brain. So this is actually a capacitor type regulator. For this one, it's an electronic circuit board printed regulator. So I think I have both of the simple item already, but no. But I still check online when I go to the store. The store usually have a slow fan with a regulator, and I check it's a very big capacitor inside, similar like this, and it's a Mistra fan. Mistra. So I check online, it's a capacitor fan regulator, not electronic. That's why I'm so dumb. Anyway, so for this we are gonna be mount the fan regulator properly first before I messing stuff around, because I will miss the screw anyway. So now later we're gonna take apart few different type of regulator. They are called iron core fan regulator. What is iron core fan regulator, you might be asked, because some guy will very pissed off and they ask me, what the fuck are you doing? Why you want to collect this iron core? There's a transformer inside. And why they ask, why people still using this piece of garbage, although they are switching to electronic dumbass regulator that they only die from 1 year of use. That's why I tell you, useless piece of shit. Now you already know this type of fan regulator that look like this, they are mostly called vintage fan regulator, because this model and inside the component they are capacitor. They are first generation efficient fan regulator, not like now electronic. That's why they sell this separately. So now we're gonna talk about the most oldest one. Like this one is 1970s, and these two are in the same range. So now we have a national KY blah 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 blah. I don't know what the hell is this thing, because so now I have a national universal fan regulator over here. These are made by National, although I repaint and restore the housing, and I forgot the sticker. Yes, I peeled the sticker, I just left it alone, whatever. That's why I print a new sticker that looks like non-original, but I tell you guys this is original, because most of the problem is KDK I follow the same piece of crap. But anyway, I tell you, the internal part is not different. KDK makes fan regulator. You can see this is a regulator made by KDK. You can see the sound is different. This is National. See? Anyway, something pissing me off. Later we explore the most vintage one later. Alright, so we explore the National fan regulator. This regulator is released in 1970. That's why it's the most popular fan, most efficient. And I also have something is made by National. Let me take it out also, that I also restore for my future fan use. This is a National FMY 156 fan. This is a national SMY 156 cover, and it's a national fan. It's a national fan. It's a national because this sign is for national, but they're already missing the logo when I removed this, but whatever. So this is for my future Panasonic fan use because I searched online because they say this national piece of junk will be fit to a Panasonic fan, so I can put it on my ceiling to show you guys. But anyway, I'm the vintage fan collector. Why the fuck I have to collect like this? Because this fan, national brand, they already changed their name into Panasonic, and this fan will no longer make. Anyway, this fan regulator and this cover I take in the same place. Although the ceiling fan is gone and left the cover on the floor. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that fucking mind. Why you remove the ceiling fan and left the cover on the ground? Is it possible? Is that no brain? If you no brain, don't do it! Oh, I don't know why they renovate the place. They look like this. Oh fuck it hell. Anyway, I still thinking why the fuck the owner would do it like that. Remove the fan and left the cover on the ground. I mean they don't have brain also. They already have brain. They already sell the ceiling fan to a corporate seller. So they can get this and buy new stuff and buy new remote control ceiling fan and die so long. I tell you guys, I'm a vintage fan collector and I'm not gonna support this piece of junk that died only 1 year. I tell you guys, you must know how to collect vintage stuff, I tell you. So next time if you get vintage stuff, don't try. Anyway, so I think I talked too much. So let's show you what's inside this vintage fan regulator. Right. So this is first one I open is a national regulator. This is what the inside looks like. So they have cover and the cover says is a KY15R. So this might be older than this one. This fan regulator might be older than this one, but I get this in the same place because the owner have no brain. Alright, so whatever. So now they also print the thing to show you how to wire it, but I just read that. You just follow the thing. Alright, so these are more modern style because these are much more older style because they built a new transformer on that side. They built a new transformer on that side. So you pick the transformer and hook it on and screw on and connect the wire. And these are much more modern lah because they heightened all the connection. You can see all the connection are heightened inside. So I should say this model might be quite new because they also have a logo. This model might be quite new because older one they expose the 2 prongs. But I will assume these are also 1970 because I searched online. They say these are released in 1970. This one is between 1960 and 1970, somewhere that range. I don't know, might be 1969 if we have good chance. Anyway, these are much older and much heavy because the transformer look like this. Let me show you the another one. They also have the same thing. The lowest speed setting is connected to the whole thing, the whole winding of this thing, like a magnetic ballast we use on the fluorescent light. The second will be drop one length. So maybe like this. The speed one is use the whole coil. Second is number 2. Third is a half of the coil. 4 is almost a bit of coil. Maybe the resistance will be drop until they reach the highest speed setting. But anyway, they are very simple for transformer coil. These are much more simple than I'm looking for. Alright. So now let's take a look this older society because the screw is all rusted and the owner decided to replace with the modern screw. That's why I say they're no brain and also know how to take care vintage stuff. I tell you guys, if you're not gonna take care, if you don't know how to take care of vintage stuff, just sell it to the person that love the vintage. Right, so sick and tired from talking. So you can see the owner replaced with a much smaller screw, but basically the screw must be single lined, not this big. The owner maybe doesn't know. Maybe they restore the fan regulator because basically for this regulator, when they look like, they might be not this color anymore. They are maybe broken crack because the owner restore. Maybe the owner have brain to take care of vintage stuff, but not as no brain as this one left the cover on the floor. That's why I took it home for my future fan use. But anyway, National fan and Panasonic fan, they're mostly all the same design. Only see the difference between the models and only. These are much older. You can see Some older fan regulator might look like this because all the things are screwed on single metal plate, and the iron core over here with separated winding. There are similar gates. Speed 1 to use the whole winding, speed 2 and speed 3. Speed 3 is the half of the winding, and number 5 never use the winding. Okay, let me demonstrate later, because you can see this regulator, they already have new screw. The owner replaced the screw. Thank you, the fan owner. You helped me a lot. Basically, I don't need to deal with the broken screw problem anymore because the owner replaced all the screw. These are look like modern screw because with the old screw, they are very single line and they're very rusty because the winding here is already very rusty. But anyway, so for this, you can see the transformer between these two are different mounting. Like this one is flattening mounting. This one is flattening mounting. These are tickling mounting. So you can see the difference between these. These are much more compact. These are much more heavy. But anyway, these are most traditional fan regulator look like. The winding is sitting like flattened. And the switch, I already say the switch will be different. This is exposed metal. If they lose this piece of crap, you touched it, you get a fucking shock. And you kill yourself, and also one by one. So today, this fan regulator, I'm not gonna power it on because I'm vintage fan collector. I'm not gonna, and everything is mounted on the flattening, not like this exposed piece. Alright. So this one has more older society because you can see everything is mounted on the plate, and the plate are look 3D printed. Most of the old stuff, they're 3D printed stuff. There's no modern society with single printed, but mostly lah. So I tell you guys, you must have brain to deal with that problem. But for this, you can see the fan has a this is a live incoming, outgoing is sitting over here 1 by 1 gate. So it's turn, and this might be the output. So 2 wires. So output over here. When you put it on high speed, they might be just go away, straight away lah. So these are speed 1. You can see speed 1 goes into transformer output, and you can see this line how they operate. See, these things are movable. Older fan regulator are probably look like this. These are between 1960 and 1970 because they're movable ranges. See, they are movable and they are much quieter because they have no bearing and no clicking. They are moved. They can move 360 degrees. This one is different. This one have click. This one does not. See, the click is coming out from this copper piece of crap. Sometimes they will wear out. You need to replace it, but you should know how to replace stuff for some reason. But you can see they are much more quieter. They can move. Although sometimes when this thing get old, you need to clean the shaft over here to protect from burning or not working. So sometimes you need to clean the shaft so the thing will be made so the thing electricity can make contact. So these are also called electrode. They are mounted on surface. For some older version, they are pure copper. They are no like what is this piece of junk alligator clip using fake copper wire to blow it up easily. Anyway, so now we should know how it works. But if this thing is very disgusting, I should know how to clean it up. But I don't want to spoil the vintage stuff. You can see it moves freely, and these things are slightly larger. What the fuck? Alright, so here you should know. See? So these are vintage fan regulator look like. So now, did you know how fan regulator work? Older fan regulator are much simple. They give hole, you screw. Not like this, you need to find the hole by yourself. But this only single enter. Anyway, so now, did you know how fan regulator work? Comment down below. And don't be bullshit. So, that's it. That's end. Very simple, right? Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe. Although very interesting part of video. Saying people no brain to do with that. I tell you, don't do this. Anyway, so for this video, we already talked about fan regulators. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my show. properly. Goodbye.